Hello there, YouTube. This is Gilbert S., and I am here with our 6th episode of the Unnamed Game Company podcast. This is our designer podcast where I sort of talk to you all out there and about, games and stuff we're doing, and hopefully, you come away with liking a little bit more of the stuff we do and are interested in learning more or downloading our products, whichever. But this week we are talking about Eiri. It was our last Saturday release when we were doing the 31 Days of Games, and I really want to take a moment to talk about it because it is a project that we are going to continue even through the upcoming year, and maybe even beyond that if we feel like it. It is it takes place in 1400s Ireland. It's called Eiri, and the notion behind it is what we are calling a living RPG, living TTRPG, which is it is not like other TTRPGs which are completely built when you buy them. Here's a full game, you're done. We are episodic in the way we're designing this, so there's a lot of it will sort of develop as you go along. So there's not going to be all the classes when you start the game. You're not going to have select powers. You're going to play it and then sort of learn as the episodes go out, and as episodes go out you get to customize and build up more, and you get to learn more about your characters. And that's sort of what we envisioned with Eiri. We like the notion that it was going to be a thing where you got to learn how to be a swordsman at first, and then if you want to, then we'll offer you classes, and then once we get classes together, then maybe you'll learn how to do tactics, and then once tactics are done, maybe we're going to introduce powers, or maybe we're going to have missions or other things that you can do in the game. But it's really taking away the sandboxy feel of TTRPG, and it's making it more video game-esque. So, that's sort of what we were sort of hoping for Eiri. Initially, the game Eiri came about as we were talking with someone about, hey, what's out there? What do people want to see? And there's people who really like low fantasy games, and people really like episodic, the idea of episodic games. And I was like, and they like games like video games where people have like a mission and you go do a mission. And so a few things combined and then end up creating what inevitably became Eiri. And Caradwin went through Eiri thing, and it became one of their favorite games, or one of the games that they enjoyed, and they even did some rewrites for the game and tried to make it into something more polished. And so fundamentally, it was intended to be a skill-based game in which you don't roll dice necessarily. You roll dice, but you're also trying to actually hit with your dice. So there is a bear or a soldier, and they actually have a body map and arms, legs, heads, and torsos and stuff like that. And what you'll do is you'll throw dice at this body map on the table, and the idea is that if you land in it, you cause damage, and depending, if you meet the number or below the number, then the armor class goes down, and if you're over the number, then it sort of bleeds through, and then you actually cause damage to the physical person beneath it. So, it's intended to be one of those. It's intended to be a game that's very, we're building it as we come along. And sorry, I lost my train of thought there. No, but anyways, it is intended to be a game that is more skill-based and something that if you play more, the better you'll become at it. But the more difficult will make sort of the fighting that will have to happen. So initially it started off as your farmers and these normal people in this small little hamlet, in Ireland, and the Lord is passed, and the new Lord Liam has come up to power and has invited you all, and has said, look, if you be my king's agents, if you be my Lord's agents, if you serve me, because I know you're loyal to this town, I don't need soldiers from outside of everywhere else. I need people from here to do things for me, to help me build this place up. And it's like, okay, so let's do this. And then you're supposed to go out, and the first mission is to take on a bear. There is a meddling bear in the forest, and the bear is making it very hard for the Lord to be able to get the wood to be able to build something. So your job is to fight and kill the bear. And you also get to practice your fighting with Cillian, who is sort of Lord Liam's like right-hand soldier. And so that's something that you get to start doing, and you get to play a couple rounds where you get to throw the dice at Cillian, who is fighting you with a stick, but they're super armored and super power class, so it's really powerful and very hard to sort of beat Cillian. You're not intended to beat Cillian. But the idea behind it is that Cillian is so good that he's just a practice dummy, so you can practice how to fight, and teaches you how to fight, which is really how we start the game. And then you move on to fighting the bear. You got to the woods, which you all know really well. Your characters have been raised in the area, and you played in the woods and the creeks and things like that, and this is your sort of first mission. And the basis behind it is that if you serve this Lord and you do these tasks, the Lord will give the land that your families have sort of worked as serfs for years. Because, you're serfs. They're not fighters or soldiers. So this is an opportunity for you to gain land, for you to gain autonomy. And Lord Liam is really like, yeah, let's make this happen. And that's sort of the principle of the beginning part of the game. And then we're sort of now in the next part, which is we're kind of looking at what's going to happen next. And a lot of that is pointing to doing... Again, sorry, I live on a very busy street. I cannot stop the sounds from coming out the door. That is, we're looking at potentially adding 2 new classes at the next one. The next 2 are coming out at the end of February. We're planning to release sort of the Axe class, the Berserker class, which is really cool. And then we're going to also release the Hunter class, which is, so there's going to be a mission where your job is to help cut down trees. And then there's going to be a mission where your job is to help to end the overpopulation, because now the bear is gone and we just don't want to attract other predators like wolves into the forest. So we need to we have to knock the population down a little bit, because we just really don't want to attract other bigger predators into the area. So you're gonna have to go rabbit hunting, and that's the bow class, the axe class, and then there'll be initiatives that might be introduced in the next one. And so now we're starting to build this sort of party. And the idea behind this game is, if people really like it, and hopefully people start to believe in what we're trying to build here with Eiri, is that eventually we get to a point in Eiri where you'll get special skills and class bonuses, and we're not really planning to give you a store to buy stuff and customize your character. It's more of you're going to earn loot, and loot's going to be able to build you up. In the first mission, you're given one bearskin chest protector. You just can wear it to protect your body, and that's it. We actually had this discussion where Karen was like, well, why don't we have more stuff for the players? And I go through all of this, and all I get is this crappy bear skin, and nobody else gets anything else. And it's that's the whole party dynamic, that there's going to be things that are going to be negotiated, and there's only going to be so much loot to go around, And this whole notion of everybody gets something is sort of not the point anymore, like for this game. The point is that we want to make it feel pretty authentic, that you're going to get things that maybe other people really want, and it depends on the construction of your party. And maybe we might introduce a magic class, or we might introduce other types of classes, or ways to throw the die. And there'll be people with different types of dice, and there'll be different combinations of dice, and there's going to be different ways to throw, and maybe an axe hand over the top of your head, or maybe a hunter, you have to do trick shots as a hunter. So there's going to be like subclasses and places and ways to go and trees and stuff, and so we're really hoping that like this is a living TTRPG. This is a thing that you will sort of play, you will like, and then you will sort of follow along with us on missions, and so that's Eiri. I know this is a short episode for our Tuesday, but the idea behind it was I just really wanted to talk about Eiri, and I really wanted to talk about where we're going with Eiri, and imagine that in the future we're going to be taking on bandits, and Karen was really excited about the notion of hydras and Loch Ness monsters and fighting weird creatures, and I like it too. I like the notion that you're going to have these battle maps, and you're going to have to land in weird places, and you're going to have to fight big bosses, and you're going to go from serfs, people that are considered workers of the land who aren't expected to become heroes, and you're going to become a hero. And that's really cool. And we imagine this is a really fun game that you can play with beers. Like you can just drink this at a bar and play some games, and you can throw dice at the bear. So there's a lot of ways we're sort of looking at this, and we're sort of very excited about it. And we don't know where it's going to go, but we hope that if you're listening to this and you haven't gotten a chance to try Eiri, that you are excited to try Eiri, because we are excited to write for Eiri. And if there's people out there who've tried it or want to play it or looking to get into it, and you have suggestions, we call it a living TTRPG for a reason. This is because we would like to build it around a community. And hopefully if we, after 6 or 7 or 8 episodes, we start to get people who are actually liking this stuff. And then maybe they start to adopt it and start people talking about it. And we're going to run out and actually play this in the world. And so eventually, you'll be able to tell us like, hey, we would love to fight blankety blank, or we would love to have a challenge where we'd love to have like a sneaky class. How do we deal with a sneaky class? Well, that's just because we have to figure out the mechanics. So a lot of it's not written, and a lot of it is yet to be written, which is really neat, because like I don't think very many games out there are like, hey, we're going to build this around what you guys want, what you all want. And if that's something that is exciting to be part of a thing where we're going to talk about a game, and we're going to put it out there, and that's would be something I enjoy. So we'd love to hear from you at Unnamed Gameco at gmail.com. You can reach out to us. You can message us on our Ko-fi. You can direct message us on Twitter. 31 Days of Games, the itch is already released, and we are very excited for it. So if you are if that is that should be it. So we hope you have a good day. I know this is a very short episode, it's only 15 minutes, but I'm thinking that maybe our Tuesday episodes will be a little shorter. Or, it just depends. So this is just a short episode today, but thank you so much for listening, and I hope you download Eiri. It is available on our Ko-fi, and it is available as part of the itch, but only on our Ko-fi will the new episodes be released. So if you are interested in that, follow us and like us on our Ko-fi. Have a good day, and thank you again for listening.